Welcome to the evening review. My name is Sukhane Klache, and joining me in studio is the MD of Rent to Own Namibia, Mr. Inocencio Verde. Before we go into that conversation, we'll have a short commercial break. Thank you for joining us in studio.
Thank you so much.
Before we get into the why we brought you here, I want you to just give the audience or the viewers a brief sense of the Ongos development project and the Rent to Own, and as well as where we find ourselves now, or where you find yourselves now in terms of construction.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to explain to you about the Ongos Valley. So about 7 years ago, a group of young men came together basically to assist in solving, obviously, the housing problems that we have in the country. And Ongos Valley was identified as the most able land that we can be able to develop as far as the development of affordable housing is concerned in Windhoek. Of course, given the mountainous areas around Windhoek, obviously the site of Ongos is actually one of the best suitable land that we have, that we can be able to develop a product that is responsive to the market that we have. Now, Ongos Valley, the size of is about 1,750 hectares. And of course, our construction level is broken down into effectively 8 phases. But of course, right now we are in phase 1. And as we speak, in terms of the construction, we're about 83% into completion. We are talking of water reservoir being completed. We already built about 80 houses that are on site, and we continue to grow that number. Of course, there are a lot of moving parts as far as the Ongos project is concerned, but we have hope and faith that eventually every other thing that we plan to do is going to come to fruition. Yeah.
Cost remains at the heart, at the center of any construction project. And I remember when this project was launched with the relative prices per house.
Yeah.
And per dwelling, there was a lot of talk on social media. You know, how would you justify these prices that were promised at the time?
Yeah.
Considering now we had the COVID-19 pandemic that I'm sure would have had an effect on the project and other factors.
Yeah. Well, I think to answer your question, we can target your question in 2 folds. First of all, is the price of land or the cost of land in which you have to buy the land and be able to develop. Secondly, it's actually all the ancillary services that comes with construction. For example, your road designs, your planning, and I mean all this bulk infrastructure that you have to put in place and everything else in order for you to, at the end of the day, be able to come at sort of what we call affordable pricing for our people. So as far as that is concerned, I think, Ongos did not change any bit from its own pricing. We are still sort of delivering housing from 320,000 to almost 1.3, 1.4 million. So there is a variety of pricing of houses that people can be able to choose. So we haven't changed that. And because, I mean, our team, first of all, encompass sort of a fully fledged sort of technocrats and specialists as far as construction is concerned. So a lot of these other costs that perhaps would have been absorbed by other people, we do it internally. So that way it still reduces the price, sort of your estimated price of house that you can have. And secondly, we are also looking at volume. We are not building 100 houses. We are going to build 28,000 houses. So the economies of scale will tell you that obviously there is a cheaper price per square meter as compared to somebody who will be able to only build probably 50, 10, 20 houses or so. Yeah.
Touching now on an issue that you're directly involved in, rent to own.
Yeah.
Can one say by extension that this is similar to someone entering into a balloon payment for a car where you pay off this, now making the comparison now to a house, you pay this off for 5 years, and then after that 5 years you decide whether I want to own this property. I want you to break down the nuts and bolts of this whole rent to own policy or project.
Okay, very interesting. So when we set as Ongos Valley, we looked at two things. First of all, it's the issue of housing that is a concern, and secondly, it's the issue of affordability. We ran our statistics, and in terms of the National Labour Survey report, estimates that government employees, for instance, they stand roughly at about 88,000. Okay, and government gives one of the best housing subsidies in the country, where sort of your installment gets to be paid. The government contribution, as far as your installment is concerned, government contributes 66%, whereas the employee only contribute on average 34%. Now, this is one of the best housing subsidy ever that you can find in the country. But the irony of that is that only 18% of government employees actually make use of the subsidy, leaving you of about over 80% of government employees that do not own houses, or perhaps in this case, over 80% of government employees participate in the rental space. Now, what we were saying is that how are we able to change this situation in order to be able to make sure that our people, we accelerate the home ownership level in the country? And so the idea of the rent to own was then born, to say, look, why don't people qualify? What we have realized in terms of our database of government employees, just at our sales hub, we have got over 13,000 people interested in housing, but who are not able to qualify because of the rates of affordability, number one, unhealthy credit records. Some of them do not even have credit records at all, which makes it a little bit difficult for financial institutions to be able to assist or help out these individuals. So with the rent to own option, then comes through by way of saying that it's an alternative housing finance model that we have created for our own people, where we say during the first 5 years, we call it the rent to own to be attractive. But what basically happens is you buy the property, okay, in year one. The agreement you sign, you don't sign a rental agreement. You sign a deed of sale agreement in which transfer is deferred into at the end of year 5. Are we together?
Yeah.
So during these first 5 years, we brought up sort of, we stretched all our calculations and our model. We had to arrive sort of at a certain fee that the cost of financing this particular model, whereas we say if the property of the house is 500,000 today, all you need is you will be able to first pay as a 3.2%, which is the commitment fee. That is sort of amounts to 4 months of installments, which is our only deposit that we get, or only form of security that we get from the client. And then from there, this commitment fee is paid over a period of 4 to 6 months, however we can come up with that arrangement. Okay? And then you pay a monthly installment fee of about 1%. So if the property is 500,000, you pay 1%, which is 5,000 to us. If you are able to pay anything else extra, anything that you pay above that 1% goes towards the reduction of your capital amount. So you have 5 years where you rectify all your issues in terms of your credit records and affordability issues. And we believe within 5 years, probably your situation changes, your financial position changes. If you're a supervisor, probably within 5 years, there is a probability that you will become a manager or you understand, where your roles actually increase, and we believe that your income is also going to change. And with that, then you are given 5 years to be able to sort out all these issues, and then join formally you join formally on the traditional route, which is your mortgage financing. So coming back to your question, you are basically renting your own home before you can buy it. The model works just like as the 100% balloon payment that is expected at the end of year 5. It's just that you will still require to have a financial institution coming through to be able to assist you pay that 500,000 at the end of year 5. Yeah.
I want to move on to other issues now.
Yeah.
And this touches on the Monte Christo road project, where there was this, it would seem as if there was this to and from between you, Ongos, and the city of Windhoek. Where is the project in terms of that road upgrade project now?
Okay, so the Monte Christo road comes into two folds. Obviously, first of all, it's to respond to the traffic demand that will flow through to Ongos, number one. Number two, we need to be able to alleviate that flow. If you are going to build 28,000 houses, eventually what we are estimating is about 160,000 people will be living at Ongos. If you close your eyes and you look at 160,000 people going into that direction, it is just going to be massive. You need to change the road networks. You need to create sort of all this ample infrastructure to allow that there is sufficient flow. So with the idea of the Ongos, as far as the first construction is concerned, is that we were only going to be able to arrive at the Machichi intersection, which is the four-way, the busy four-way, the Havana four-way. So that is where basically we were supposed to be ending. But now the whole idea is that, look, we spoke to the city to see whether the city was going to be able to sort of develop that particular road network, maybe perhaps in the near future, of which the city responded to negative, to say that, look, there are no funds to be able to develop that particular area. So for us as business people, and for us as people who are interested in the social upliftment of our people, we believe that, look, because we have got the balance sheet, how about if we are able to discuss with government where they can be able to assist in the funding of this particular project. And so we have been having a back and forth situation, but we believe in the next couple of weeks, we might be able to arrive at a very conclusive period.
City of Windhoek Mayor Job Amupanda, in the letter, questioned the involvement of the Urban and Rural Development Minister, Erastus Utwani. Of course, you've touched on that, the need to involve government and the fact that you leverage off of your balance sheet. But there's a perceived notion of favoritism. What do you make of that?
Well, I think as far as projects of these natures are concerned, there are a number of stakeholders that needs to be involved. First of all, you need to understand that Ongos Valley is situated in the city of Windhoek, number one. Number two, we need to understand that the road network, as far as that is concerned, was supposed to be developed by the city of Windhoek already. Number three, if you are going to rope in government stakeholders, obviously you need to understand that there is national planning was also involved. The Ministry of Finance was also involved. We needed to have these stakeholders involved because of how the financing needs to work. We needed to involve the stakeholders because of as a way of mitigating possible risks that comes with financing this type of infrastructure. So as far as the mayor is concerned, I think it was just an issue of clarity that needs to be actually rectified. I mean, it's an opportunity that perhaps maybe the office of the mayor together with Ongos can be able to meet, and then we can be able to discuss on how we can further possibly conclude this particular issue that we have in between. And I think we believe if we can be given an audience to be able to explain further, I think that I'm sure that there is actually no problem.
And then much earlier, again, I touched on this issue, and this time involving the presidential advisor for youth, Daisry Mathias. At the time, you know, who intervened to sort of get the project approved. Again, it seems as if there is political backing, and that there's sort of access to power makes it easy for Ongos to develop. You know, with all of this coming up, you know, what do you say to that?
Well, quite frankly, Namibia is a very small country. We are 2.5 million people. Ongos is estimated to pump into the local economy of about 4.3 billion Namibian dollars. I think it just makes sense that we need to be able to ensure that, I mean, the financiers also need to be able to have the security that our money is, first of all, is going to be taken care of. And number two is that there is sufficient backing to ensure that this project really comes to fruition. First of all, you need to understand that Ongos in itself, you need to have a gut feeling to be able to develop in that particular area. Remember, everybody else look at where Ongos is, and they'll probably say, why are you pumping all this money in here? So if you do not have the support, if you do not have the political support on the day, how do you want to bring in $4.3 billion into that particular economy? So we believe all these are part and parcel of the stakeholder management that we needed to do to ensure that the project gets a foot in the door as far as the development is concerned. And I think we are growing by the day, and more stakeholders, in fact, financiers from outside the country are also coming through. So because there must be somebody who believes. There must be somebody who believes in order for you to be able to move forward. And we needed people that could believe in us in order for us to be able to get there. So all possible involvement, whether be it politicians or private, they are welcome. I think at the end of the day, we must be able to look at the social benefit that this project comes with it. Forget about the other naysayers of as far as favoritism is concerned. A project of this nature will always attract such type of comments, and I think they are welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Evening Review.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning into the Evening Review. Good night.
Strike it gold and win 5,000 Namibian dollars in cash with Neo Paints. Simply buy Neo Paints products from the selected range and stand a chance to get one of 12 mystery buckets filled with gold paint. All 12 winners will each get 3 extra paint buckets equal to their purchase. One to replace the gold paint, the second to use on your project, and the third to give to a charity of their choice. One winner can score another 10,000 Namibian dollars by showing us your creative use of the golden paint. The best project wins the cash. Offer is valid from 27 September to 18 December at your favorite hardware store nationwide. Visit us at neopaints.com for more competition details and follow us on Facebook for weekly competition updates. Neo Paints, a coat of excellence.
Take our love to the top. If I got it and you want it and you'll never let it drop. All we gotta do is take our love to the top. I will ride for you, baby, even die for you. When I'm loving you, but my heart don't stop.